Okay, so 1 minute. Let's see here. This here. Show this here. Yeah. If you want to share any screen, or that's fine. But
Uh, Prabhu, I'm using my phone, so
okay, no
can
problem.
you share the screen?
I'll share the
Yes,
link so everybody can see the words. Right? Or
yeah.
maybe yeah, I can put the SB 266, right? 266.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, you can.
Sri Radhika Kishori Mataji, are you going to play the Kartal? Or
I can.
I'll just sing then
Okay, okay.
without Kartal. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll start with the Jai Radha Madhava Bhajan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. I'll only sing, or you'll be singing
Yeah, I
with me?
think it will be difficult to do a call and response,
Yeah,
but we
so
can. Yeah,
can I just do the prayers and continue, Prabhu?
yeah, it's fine.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we will be reading Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 2, chapter 6, verses 6 and 7 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the first sloka for today is 2.6.6. Bahavo loka palanam parayasa kshema karmanam. The Lord's arms, so this is the translation. The Lord's arms are the productive fields for the great demigods and other leaders of the living entities who protect the general mass. Purport. This important verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is corroborated and nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verses 41 to 42 as follows. Yadyat vibhutimat sattvam Srimad urchitam evava tad evava gaccha tvam mama tejo masa sambhavam अथवा बहुनिथेन किं जनाथेन तवर्चुना विस्ताहयं वयहम् इदं कृष्णम् एकंसेन स्थितो जगत्. There are many powerful kings, leaders, learned scholars, scientists, artists, engineers, inventors, excavators, archaeologists, industrialists, politicians, economists, business magnates, and many more powerful deities or demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna, and Maru, who are all protecting the interest of the universal affairs of maintenance in different positions. And all of them are different powerful parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is the father of all living entities who are uh, placed in the different high and low positions according to their desires as or aspirations. Some of them are particularly mentioned above are specifically endowed with power by the will of the Lord. A sane person must know for certain that a living being, however powerful he may be, is neither absolute nor independent. All living beings must accept the origin of their specific power as mentioned in the verse. And if they act accordingly, Then, simply by discharging their respective occupational duties, they can achieve the highest perfection of life, namely eternal life, complete knowledge, and inexhaustible blessings. And as long as the powerful men of the world do not accept the origin of their respective powers, namely the personality of Godhead, the actions of Maya, illusion, will continue to act. The actions of Maya are such that a powerful person, misled by the illusory material energy, wrongly accepts himself as all in all, and does not develop God consciousness. As such, the false sense of egoism, namely myself and mine, has become overly prominent in the world. And there is a hard struggle for existence in human society. The intelligent class of men, therefore, must admit the Lord as the ultimate source of all energies and thus pay tribute to the Lord for his good blessings. Simply by accepting the Lord as the supreme proprietor for everything, since he is actually so, one can achieve the highest perfection of life. Whatever a person may be in the estimation of the social order of things, if a person tries to reciprocate a feeling of love towards the supreme personality of Godhead and is satisfied with the blessings of the Lord, he will at once feel the highest peace of mind for which he is anchoring life after life. Peace of mind, or in other words, the healthy state of mind, can be achieved only when the mind is situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Parts and parcels of the Lord are endowed with specific powers for rendering service unto the Lord, just as a big business magnate's sons are empowered with specific powers of administration. The obedient son of the father never goes against the will of the father, and therefore passes life very peacefully in concurrence with the head of the family, the father. Similarly, the Lord being the Father, all living beings should fully and satisfactorily discharge the duty and will of the Father as faithful sons. This is very will mentally will at once bring peace and prosperity to human society. So the explanation is Bahavo means arms, hands, and energies of the Lord. So the term Bahavo refers to the Lord's energies, which are driving forces behind the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe. These energies are the sources of all power and strength. Then Lokapalanam means the guidance of the universe or the demigods like Indra or Varuna. The phrase Lokapalanam refers to the demigods who are responsible for maintaining order in the universe. The demigods are entrusted with various responsibilities, such as managing the forces of nature, governing the planetary systems, and protecting the universe from the harm. Then Parayascha means mostly, mainly, for the most part. This Parayascha indicates that the Lord's energies are mainly and mostly responsible for sustaining the demigods and their duties. This emphasizes the Lord's role as the ultimate source of power and strength. Then Kshema Karmanam means protective and beneficial activities. The term Kshema Karmanam refers to protective and beneficial activities. This phrase highlights the Lord's energies as a source of all beneficial and protective actions in the universe. This verse refers to various local rulers and guardians of the world, Lokapala, and their roles in ensuring the welfare and prosperity of their subjects. The term Bahavo indicates strength, uh, suggesting that these leaders possesses significant power to protect and manage their realms, primarily through righteous actions. So this verse highlights the Lord's energies as a source of sustenance and protection for the demigods who are responsible for maintaining order in the universe. The Lord's arms are the source of power and strength for the demigods who protect and maintain the universe. These demigods are mainly engaged in activities that bring benefit and protection to all living beings. The Lord's energies are the driving force behind the demigods' efforts to maintain order and harmony in the universe. Um, In essence, this verse highlights Lord's role as the ultimate protector and sustainer of the universe, and how his energies are driving force behind the demigod's efforts to maintain order and harmony. The intention behind the verse is to emphasize that while earthly rulers have their roles to play, true peace and fulfillment arises from spiritual surrender rather than solely depending on material leaders. Intelligent people should recognize the Supreme Lord as the ultimate source of everything and find peace by accepting his blessings and serving him with love, essentially seeing him as the ultimate proprietor of all that exists, leading to the state of inner tranquility. The spiritual significance of this verse is uh, significant spiritual implications, and it highlights the Lord's role as the ultimate source of power and strength. It emphasizes that the Lord's energies are driving force behind all beneficial and protective actions in the universe. Furthermore, the verse can help seekers understand the importance of selfless service and devotion to the Lord. By recognizing the Lord's energies, the source of all beneficial and protective action, seekers can cultivate a greater sense of humility and gratitude, leading to deeper sense of spiritual growth and development. And then examples are like imagine there's a power grid that supplies the electricity to the homes and business. The electricity is like the Lord's energies. And just as the power grid is the source of electricity, the Lord's energies are the source of sustenance and protection for the demigods. And also, like, if think of a government as demigods responsible for, maintaining order and protection to citizens. The government's power and authority comes from the people, just like the demigods' powers come from Lord's energies. The Lord's energies are the ultimate source of sustenance and protection for the demigods. So, some takeaway points from this verse is like accepting the Lord as the main source, like acknowledging the Supreme Lord as the origin of all energies, one can achieve the highest perfection in life. And then transcendental loving service. The path to peace is through developing a devotional attitude towards the Lord, regardless of one's social standing. And then inner peace. By fully surrendering to the Lord and fulfilling his will, one attains a state of supreme peace of mind. Then developing gratitude, recognize the Lord's energies as the ultimate source of sustenance and protection in your life. Develop gratitude for the blessings and protection you receive, and cultivate humility. Understand that your abilities and strengths come from Lord's energies. Cultivate humility and acknowledgement, and acknowledge your limitations. Then seek refuge. When faced with challenges or difficulties in life, seek refuge in the Lord's energy. Pray for protection, guidance, and strength. By applying these principles, one can deepen your understanding of Lord's role in your life and cultivate a stronger sense of devotion and surrender. And next, you have any questions, anyone? So I'll move forward with the next verse. This is 2.6.7. Vikramo bhurбhuva swacha shemasya saranyasya sarvakama varas yapi haresharana aspadam. Thus, the translations. Thus, the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter for the upper, lower, and heavenly planets, as well as for all that we need. His lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fear. Uh, purport. For absolute protection from all sorts of fear, as well as for all our needs of life, we must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, not only in this planet, but also in the upper, lower, and heavenly planets. This absolute dependence on the lotus feet of the Lord is called pure devotional service, and it is directly hinted um, at within this passage. No one should have any kind of doubt in this matter, nor should one be inclined to seek and help of any other demigods, because all of them are dependent on him only. Everyone except the Lord Himself is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Even the all pervading super soul is also dependent on the supreme aspect of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So, here, this verse describes the Lord's feet as ultimate refuge and the shelter for all living beings, providing protection, well being, and fulfillment of desires. It's describing the Lord's valor and strength, which are manifested in the creation and maintenance of the universe. Bhuva, bhuva, swaha. The verse then highlights the Lord's role as the provider of protection, that is Kshemasya, and shelter is Saranasya for all living beings. Um, the phrase Sarva Kama Varasyapi emphasizes that the Lord is the fulfiller of all desires, providing the needs and aspirations of all living beings. The verse reflects on the importance of surrendering to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, as the ultimate refuge and the source of all security. The term Vikramo, Bhuva, and Swa suggest various dimensions of existence and strength, indicating the true stability and protection come from taking shelter at the feet of the Lord. The verse also emphasizes that, implies that in the pursuit of earthly desires and spiritual aspirations, Sarva Kama Varasyapi, the connection to God is paramount. But surrendering to Lord's lotus feet, devotees find not only a secure refuge but also fulfillment of their desires. Therefore, emphasizing the central theme of devotion and the power of divine grace in navigating life challenges. So, finally, the verse concludes by describing the Lord's feet as Hare Charana, as the ultimate refuge and the shelter as Padam for all living beings. And then the spiritual significance of this verse is this verse has significant spiritual implications as it highlights the Lord's role as the ultimate provider of protection. And then where protection, well being, and fulfillment of desires. The importance of seeking refuge in the Lord's feet, which represents surrender and devotion to the divine. The earth, atmosphere, heaven, and all directions are under protection and shelter of Lord Krishna's feet. He is the source of strength, protection, and fulfillment of all desires. In this verse, Brahma is describing the all pervading influence of Lord Krishna's energies, which provide shelter, protection, and fulfillment of desire to all living beings in the universe. The verse emphasizes the Lord's omnipotence and his role as the ultimate refuge and shelter for all. By recognizing the Lord's role as the ultimate provider, seeker can cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude, humility, and dependence on the divine. And some takeaway points would be like, cultivating devotion and surrendering. So we have to meditate on the lotus feet, take a few minutes each day to meditate on the Lord's feet, visualize them as the ultimate refuge and shelter, then chant the Lord's name, chant such as chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and to cultivate devotion and surrender, and then offer prayers to the Lord, seeking refuge and protection in His feet, and then pray for protection when facing challenges or difficulties. Pray to the Lord for protection and guidance. Then visualize the Lord's feet as your ultimate shelter and refuge, and seek comfort and solace in them. Recognize your limitations and cultivate humility, seeking the Lord's guidance and protection in all the aspects of life. So imagine like you're in a storm and need shelter. You would seek refuge in the safe place like a home or a building. So similarly, the Lord's feet are the ultimate refuge for all living beings, providing protection and shelter from the challenges of life. Then take time to reflect on Lord's blessings and provisions in your life, cultivating gratitude and humility, recognizing the Lord's role as the ultimate provider of protection, well-being, and fulfillment of desires. Like, consider a parent-child relationship where parent provides their children's needs, protect them, and fulfill their desires. Since similarly, the Lord's feet are the ultimate source of provision, protection, and fulfillment of all living beings. Then, when facing life difficulties, when individuals encounter challenges such as job loss, health issues, or personal crisis, turning to devotional practices like prayers, meditation, or chanting can provide a sense of peace and guidance, demonstrating trust in a higher power for strength and support. Then, uh, while making major decisions, like before making a significant life choice, example like career changes or marriage, some people may engage in reflection to seek spiritual advice through scripture studies or discussions with a spiritual mentor, showing their desire to align their decisions with the divine's will. And then when dealing with stress in times of overwhelming stress, many find solace in devotional activities such as visiting temple, participating in community service, or singing devotional songs. These practices help individuals feel connected and to something greater, providing comfort and relief from worldly pressures. And then when managing relationships in interpersonal conflicts, individual might resort to prayer or meditate to cultivate forgiveness and compassion, recognizing that surrendering their ego and seeking divine guidance can lead to healthier, more harmonious relationships. And then while setting goals, people often set personal or professional goals while seeking blessings from the God, acknowledging that while they put it effort, the ultimate control and fulfillment of those goals lie with the divine's grace, illustrating the balance of human effort and spiritual reliance. Okay, these examples show how the principles of surrendering to the Supreme Lord and finding refuge in Him can manifest a daily life. And then conclusion is these verses, like verses 6 and 7, delve into the theme of leadership, protection, and ultimate source of well-being. Verse 6 mainly emphasizes that while local rulers or guardians of the world, lokapalas, undertake the responsibility of ensuring the welfare and prosperity of their subjects through righteous actions, such governmental efforts are limited and dependent on higher principles of truth, security, and peace. Whereas the verse 7 further expounds on necessity of divine protection, asserting that despite the material efforts of leaders, ultimately safety and fulfillment can only be attained through devotion and surrendering to the Supreme Lord Krishna. The verses collectively underline a profound spiritual truth. While worldly leaders may provide temporary relief and governance, the lasting peace and happiness of individuals come from a deeper spiritual connection. So, this chapter basically encourages readers to recognize the importance of aligning with the divine guidance and cultivating inner spiritual awareness in navigating the complexities of life. So anybody has any questions?
It was nice, all the different points you mentioned about taking shelter and in the previous verse also. So, anybody like to say anything on what the points that
What
Dhriti mentioned?
wants to add more?
Yeah, add more, any comments?
Prabhupada's name is Abhay Charanaravind. One who takes shelter of Krishna and he has become fearless, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, what does it mean to take shelter of Krishna? What does it mean?
is to surrender and surrender.
So, basically, to follow the instructions of Krishna. Act according to Bhagavad Gita and you will be fearless because Krishna will protect us. He has given us promises in Bhagavad Gita, right? Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, one who worships me with Ananya Bhav, one pointed devotion, then I will carry what he lacks, I will preserve what he has. Sarvadharman Paritajya, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraj. And you become fearless. You just take, means you just follow my words. That's what Arjuna concludes at the end of Bhagavad Gita, right? I will act according to your instructions.
Thank you. Surrender also has many different aspects, right? We have accepting things. That's what you said basically. Accepting things that are favorable, rejecting things that are unfavorable, considering the Lord as our maintainer, our protector, and feeling oneself very meek and humble, and surrendering, dedicating oneself to the Lord fully. So these are also six symptoms of surrender. So taking shelter, the Lord. Also, I was thinking, yes, it requires determination, right? To do things that are favorable and to avoid things that are unfavorable. And that determination also comes from association with those who are determined and our own desires, basically. So we have to analyze our own desires and we have to see which desires are favorable, which desires are not favorable, and then act on those. Of course, desires are there. We first is to know what is favorable desire, what is unfavorable desire, and then to act on it requires determination, and to or to not act on it both. To act on it requires determination, and to not act on it requires also determination. So some things are favorable, but to do that, like this chanting Hare Krishna is favorable. So we have to chant very attentively. So that requires some determination on our part, right? And to, let's say, what is not favorable is association of non-devotees. So to be away from the association of non-devotees, we may be attracted, or all the four regulative principles, right? So these are unfavorable. So we have to keep away. That may, if we are habituated in a certain way, to keep away from that is also requires determination. So, so the and Krishna reciprocates with our desires. So if we have strong desires and really want to go back home, back to Godhead, then Krishna reciprocates with us by giving us that determination also. He helps us. Krishna says, yeah, as you are reading in the previous verse, Krishna is saying, I am the ability in man. I am the one who is giving the intelligence, but based on our desires. So, so most important is how we desire, and then Krishna reciprocates according to it. So, okay. Anything else?
In the previous verse, also, Srila Prabhupada writes that how one can attain the peace, right? He says that there's a peace formula in Bhagavad Gita is talking about Bhoktaram Yagnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Shrudhi Sarvabhutanam Gyatvam Shantim Rikshati. So he says that how one can attain the peace. If you understand that Lord is a supreme proprietor of everything, and whatever we are blessed with any power or intelligence or whoever, maybe even the demigods and the powerful king leaders are in the society, are all the part and parcel of the Lord. And if we just discharge our duty, the occupational duties, and dedicate that, put the Krishna in the center, that everything coming from him, and that's how, in that consciousness, so if one can discharge their duty, and that's how one can maintain the peace. It says that if you throw a stone in a water, one stone, there will be a many concentric circles. But if you put the many stones in the water, there will all the centers collide each other. And that's how exactly happening in the society right now. Everybody wants to lord it over this world, and their egoism, there's a false ego, clashes each other's. And that's why there is a havoc in the society. So here is Prabhupada writes that, and how one can maintain the peace of mind and maintain peace in the human society.
So one thing, Prabhu, can surrender also mean that complete faith in Krishna, so that one can sleep peacefully and he has no worries at all. In any situation, he thinks that Krishna will save me.
Yeah, that is there, but you have to do, like, you have to actually do things that are like favorable for spiritual life. If you don't follow the instructions, what is that? Dharma, one who is protected if one follows Dharma. Raksha,
Dharma Rakshiti Rakshita.
Dharma Rakshiti Rakshita. So if we follow the guidelines of the Lord, then we can be protected. Otherwise, we shouldn't have unrealistic expectations that, oh, I'm not studying for exam, but I have the faith that I'll pass the exam. Not like that.
I'm saying one aspect. Yeah, I mean,
One aspect, yeah, that
not
aspect
complete.
should come after we put our all the effort and we are like, our endeavor. Then we can depend on the Lord. Otherwise, what will happen? We are saying I'm depending on the Lord, but actually I'm not putting any, like, I'm not serious about my bhakti. Like Prabhupada says,
Okay.
you chant 16 rounds every day. So we have to chant. Of course, even if we are chanting 4 rounds, we can have faith in Krishna. But we should do what we have to do. Like, and immediately we cannot do. But yeah,
Hmm.
so we have to surrender also, right? Then we can expect the Lord's protection, because many times, we have unrealistic. We are not doing that much, or we are doing so many things which are not conducive for spiritual advancement. We have so many desires, material desires, and then we are thinking that the Lord is going to protect me. So that's also not very, what you can say, like reasonable, right? So we have to do what the Lord says. And if you're not doing, then we have to try to improve and pray to Krishna. They say, do as if everything depends on you, and pray as if everything depends on Krishna. So we have to take responsibility of our own life, like to make progress in bhakti. We have to make that as our own response. Nobody else is responsible. I am responsible for my progress in bhakti and how I approach Krishna, and then depend on Krishna. So both things we say
Right.
endeavor and
So also, I think once Mataji mentioned that surrender is kind of aspect of each movement. It's not one time thing,
correct.
right?
It's such, yeah. Every moment is choice, right? Yeah, correct. So that is also there. So yeah, it's not like one time thing. I went and surrendered. No, it's like consistently we have to surrender, right? So
We
yeah,
say that surrender is body, words, and mind.
correct.
So the complete surrender is this. Like my words is totally dedicated on glorifying Krishna. My mind is completely absorbed in thinking of Krishna's pastime and Krishna's. I mean, even in Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna has said that one should develop the qualities that can attract Krishna, right? So, so what is the mean? That is the meaning that. Uh, I mean, we cannot say that if I don't endeavor for making myself better, then it is not uh, it not attracted by Krishna. So if I have a desire to attract Krishna's love, I should endeavor for making myself better. Like even we say that even Mother Yashoda also tried, right? Nobody can bound Krishna. He's the source of everything. He's the Lord of lords. So but she did endeavor, and mother Yashoda's position is the highest position, but still she did endeavor to bind Krishna, and then Krishna is bound by him, by her effort, by seeing her effort. So yeah.
What is the word we say? She tried from all angles. What is that she was doing?
Parishram.
Parishram. Shram means effort, and pari means from all angles,
All sides.
all sides. Yeah, all sides. So that's when Krishna's, yeah. Of course, Krishna can give mercy to anybody without any effort also. It's causeless mercy he can give. But based on our desires also, Krishna reciprocates. So, Okay. Anything Dhriti would like to say?
No problem.
So, anything else?
And then, so this was also mentioned as Lord is Krishna is our Father, and if we just act according to the will of the Father, just maintain our relationship, then we will get the inheritance. Like that verse is mentioned, Tatyanukam Susamikshamanu. So even if things don't go according to our plan, we should have firm faith that whatever Krishna is doing is good for me,
Yeah.
and keep on glorifying Krishna, keep on doing your service to Krishna, and then just keep alive in this relationship with Krishna, and then automatically you become an inheritor of Krishna's property, the spiritual world.
Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, Dhriti Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, yeah, thank you very much for your class. I had a question. Just wanted to. You talked about demigods and how demigods are empowered by the Lord, and and I think you gave some analogy about garments regarding that. My question to you is: have you seen people who have demigod pictures along with Krishna's pictures, Radha Krishna's pictures at home, right? So I'm talking very generally. I'm not talking making reference to anyone. But what I'm asking you is, Dhriti Mataji, what is your thought on that? Where people, how do you convince people that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead? Because I could be praying to Lord Ganesha all my life. Now you are coming and telling me that Ganesha is empowered by the Lord, and the Lord is the supreme authority. You have any thoughts how we can convince such people?
Prabhu, I have other deities also in my puja room.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So basically, like, for me, like, uh, I mean, even it's not that I was following, other demigods before, and now I'm after coming into ISKCON, I'm doing only Krishna. But I don't know, I had special connection to Vishnu avatars. So it didn't really impact me much because I started reading Bhagavad Gita, understanding more about Krishna. So I felt like he's the supreme power, and um, and the other demigods are all like also his devotees. That's how I feel. But to convince, like, my husband, he kind of like likes Ganesha from childhood. So I mean, I don't know how much he understands when I tell him this, but he'll say like, "Okay, for you, Krishna is everything. That's fine, but I want to still, pray for Ganesha. And when I feel like Krishna is the superior, then maybe when I'll say like, all the other demigods are also devotees of Krishna." So that's how he said. I didn't talk about this topic to anybody else other than him. So
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to convince your own husband, especially. But my question was, not necessarily regarding spouses.
mhm.
It's more, when you are coming across people like your friends, other family members, how do you establish that fact? Because they don't. I think Prabhuji mentioned, was it Manish Prabhu? He mentioned about faith.
Mhm.
So faith is the ultimate aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
So I was wondering what was your experience there, communicating to others about this. Now, I know it's a tough question, so don't worry about it. The second thing I wanted to ask you is, what is your realization when you've been practicing Krishna conscious now for what 2-3 years?
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. So, what is your realization, if any? Why are you attracted to Krishna, etc.?
I mean, mainly the ISKCON philosophy is the first thing that I got attracted. Like, it's like more realistic, like, to understand when compared to other, I mean, I never followed other things to even say that I don't like that, or I like this. So basically, like when I was a kid, I used to go and listen to, Bhagavad Gita classes in the temple. And then, at that time, I never had that much interest, because as a kid, like, I was just looking at the deities and, enjoying the way they decorate and all that. And then the scriptures never, like, I was not never into them. But now, after attending uh, home programs and all, when we listen to what is said in Bhagavad Gita and we implement that in our life, it gave me a lot of changes, than before I followed ISKCON. Like 4 years before, I had several questions, like, what is my purpose here, and all that. Now I get an understanding that, I came here to serve the Lord and I have to go back to Godhead. So that's what I understood. We have
Thank you,
very less
Mataji.
time in this, and then, chanting. With chanting, I could, control some of my emotions. I wouldn't say everything, but to a lot of extent, I improved, let it be anger issues or anxiety issues or whatever. When we chant, the mind calms down, and, you remember the, deity of my puja room or something. It gives me a lot of peace internally. So, I mean, such kind of changes I've seen in the past 4 years.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you very much for your sharing your experience.
Okay, anything else anybody like to say? On the verse, I can pull it up here again if you have. Okay, otherwise we are done with this. Anything else? Nobody has any comments?